Don't see how you could be. If you are, let me know.
I don't know what these two losers are talking about, because the only thing to talk about is the fact that there is a Boys Gone Wild live podcast on the 30th of September at Moth Club, Hackney, East London. There should be a link in the bio if Charlie's doing his job right. Get it, buy the tickets, bring your mums, bring your cousins, bring everyone. It's going to be a horrible, horrible, lovely time. See you all there, buy tickets.
Welcome to the Dickcast with Ballsy
joke.
McGee.
With Don Ballsman and Penis McGee.
Sorry, you cannot get so uppity with "that's my joke."
That was my joke.
You tell the joke.
I wanted to start.
Well, why don't you tell that joke then?
Welcome to the Dickcast with your hosts Balls McGee and Don Ballman.
Yeah, sorry for stealing that.
What? There was actually, there was no reference to dick. There was no reference. What was that? There was no reference to dicks in the name. It was just balls.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about scrotums. Have they gone too far?
Scrotums. Have they gone too far?
We're sponsored by
Scrot Wipe.
Oh no!
Sorry, you put me. If baby's put in the corner, he
then
bites.
Daddy's gonna scream.
This is Q&A. I'm gonna get it.
Hilaria B, Spanish, funny.
All right.
Which of you would win in a duel?
Now, what's the weapon of choice?
I would win in every single one. The only one I think we'd agree, if it was naked fists, I think you'd have it because of
How sharp they are.
How sharp they are, but I also think you have more of a desire to live than I do.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
That, in a bare knuckle fight to the death.
Anything that
guns, fencing,
anything that involves
anything that requires
aiming,
equipment.
Yeah.
Imagine you in
Sports.
a 1-2-3 turn, old Western style. You wouldn't hit the target once.
Andrew would win.
I would win, but if it was bare knuckle fight to the death, Horatio would win because he has more of a desire to live. I've actually seen that because we used to have fights, fun play fights.
Not in like a gay private school way,
but kind of, and it was. And it would be like, there'll be tickling involved and things like that. You know when things just escalate? Oh, don't do it there. Don't do it more. It was when we would throw each other's shoes out the window kind of thing. And then it would escalate. Horatio sees red quite quickly, but so do I.
But it's more my action-reaction mantra.
It was an ethos.
It was an ethos, which is for example, if Andrew pushes me, I'll make sure my response
You'll shove me.
Oh, to be honest, it's pretty heavy, but I'm like Israel. My mantra my mantra for aggression is Israel.
Right.
If whatever you do to me, I'm going to do so much worse.
A war criminal. Yeah, no, 100%. No, 100%. Yeah, no. So there's a ferocity that comes out of Horatio that you'd probably be surprised with.
Yeah.
That when pushed, he will. There's a glaze.
When pushed, he'll give you a push at least twice as hard back.
Yeah, because there were times when you do a fairly minor thing, but no, they were annoying.
Yeah.
Think of flick in the ear kind of thing, and then suddenly you're in a bin.
Yeah. It sounds like we're in the Beano.
Right. So if it
question.
involves any equipment, me. If it's bare knuckle, Horatio. John's got cocks. What's the job you'd most like to see replaced by AI/machines, and why is it real estate agents? Well, I actually don't have that much hatred for real estate agents.
As you said.
I don't know. I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I guess I haven't really encountered them enough. They just show you around a house.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when
Did you have problems with yours?
Not really. I guess when you said I don't have any problems with estate agents, it was kind of the first time I've heard anyone say that, and I did kind of pause and say, I guess I haven't exactly had bad experiences.
I've never had a bad
experience. You just sort of feel like they're...
It's because we know one and we don't like him.
Yeah, no, but it's more like... No, because that's more implied to... Everyone hates estate agents.
I know.
They're like traffic wardens. I guess...
People don't hate traffic wardens. Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking of a traffic warden as someone who
You're thinking of a lollipop lady.
I'm thinking of a lollipop lady.
And no one hates a lollipop lady.
Everyone loves lollipop ladies.
And everyone hates traffic wardens. Estate agents... The problem is it feels like they make their money off a commission, and they're like a middleman that can often...
They don't care about...
They bump up prices of rented properties.
But that's landlords. That's not estate agents.
Well, everyone hates landlords the most. So
yeah. Right, they're closely associated
And I guess the
with...
way estate agents often, not to generalise, will be people who maybe didn't do the best in school, but then have this attitude that because they wear a suit and they are, putting a down payment on BMW, that they're the shit. or
True.
that they're like in the Wolf of Wall Street.
It's always the cars that make it the worst.
So I guess that's why people don't
Charlie's
like it.
pulled something up. He's. I'm going to read out every search Charlie makes because they're always mental. His search is.
By the way, of the last 4 episodes, maybe 5 episodes, throughout every episode, Charlie does just bring up stuff for us to talk about. We've only started talking about 20% of them. Most of the time, they're completely irrelevant.
It's chaos in the background. It's great. It's perfect
because we like the option, but he's very rarely right.
But so this search he's done is there a lollipop man?
Good. That's a good question.
Is there a lollipop man? What does that mean?
Well, lollipop lady is a very gendered word in the job.
In Australia and the United Kingdom, a school crossing supervisor or school crossing patrol officer is commonly known as a lollipop man. I've seen lollipop men. Is the question who is the most annoying people to interact with, and you'd want to change that?
What job is it in your life that would just be the best to have it completely automated, I guess?
Right.
For your daily process.
For my daily... Oh, God.
I guess maybe hookers.
Hookers, prozzies, next one.
Yeah.
Do you guys really not experiment with that? Do guys really not experiment with it?
That's Freud.
Great start. Are you guys not gay? Do guys really not experiment with their sexuality as much as women? Brackets, e.g. kissing each other. Or are they just more coy about it?
I would maybe argue they are more coy about it.
I think women probably experiment more than men.
But they experiment in a different way.
Actually, I know far more.
Yeah,
in terms of people I know far more guys who have than girls.
And I think,
in fact, I don't know. I do know girls. It's from like our upbringing.
I do think it feels like with our. It didn't feel like at school it was a kind of remarkably. The women were remarkably straight.
Way too straight.
Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
It feels like as a group of people, it seems weird there wasn't more lesbians there.
That's true.
And as I've often said in this podcast, I want more lesbian friends, and part of it is because I went to school which weirdly just didn't. Maybe it was our year group for some reason.
We weren't churning out lesbians.
It was like the amount of just straight women we know from that school. And in comedy, everyone has an element of queerness now. And like it's so much more regular. But then I think about my home friends, it's just they're all straight women.
They're straight as hell.
And then the guys, they're straight, but there's clearly some gayness
we've
there.
all been there.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
We've all
done the dirty deed. Charlie, let's go to our senior correspondent.
I have a take.
Go for it.
Here we go.
I think more girls will like kiss each other like at parties.
Guys
but they might not take it further.
Yeah.
Whereas guys will go further, but more rarely.
Guys will skip the kissing phase.
Yeah.
Because it's more like, I wonder how this dick feels in betwixt my lips.
Well, I guess maybe experimentation for men, it's like a Lord of the Rings-esque journey. It's a quest.
What's Mordor?
Their
bum
anus.
hole.
Yeah. And they go
I'm just glad we're on the same page.
I mean, if you think about it, the analogy works almost perfectly. They're trying to put the ring in Mount Doom. I mean, it's actually unbelievable.
Do you think that's probably what
it
is?
So it's this deep, personal, at times upsetting, confusing journey. But it feels like experimenting for a woman. It feels like a frolic in the park.
It is. But men are going to get down into Mordor. That's very true. It's like
it's this.
It's quite a male attitude.
Soul-wrenching kind of like identity, like confusing.
But it's like, I think it's also quite a male attitude to be like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to like just kiss.
I love you, brother.
Yeah.
Like no one's loved anyone before. But what does this mean about myself? And then girls, it's like, woo!
Let's do it. Take a picture. Take a picture of it. Whereas guys are like, don't tell anyone that's ever happened. Yeah, I feel like men probably, I reckon, from my experience, men do it dirtier. They actually get into it. It's like, if I'm going to do it, let's fucking do it. Whereas girls, it's like, because it's more socially acceptable, to be honest. And it's kind of a bit of a cheap thrill for girls to, oh, look, the girls are kissing. Well, it's like, oh, Tom's got Dick Snob in his mouth. Why is it called Dick?
And it's partly because within the male gaze it's built in there for lesbians, are built into the male gaze. As like, isn't it hot, these two girls kissing?
Yeah.
It's not built into the female gaze, men kissing.
Look, Paul and Tom are getting with each other.
That's so hot.
Yeah.
These two guys kissing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's creeping in, but the way that women like to see men kiss is it's more the emotional side. Like, there's like, I think I know a lot of women who would be turned on by the idea of two men just like
being so free,
or more like they're just like, it's like emotionally ruining them that they're doing it, but there's like a real intensity
a visceral friendship there,
as opposed to like, damn, 4 tits instead of 2.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, lots of bubs.
Right, next question. I can't read. You go.
Right, here we go. This is a long one. Olly Lewis.
At what age should a single man give up dating for a long-term partner and accept a bachelor lifestyle of sports, car / pool table in living room / crypto trading / golf holidays / alcoholism / smoking cigars / being obsessed with the gym / getting Botox and calling his friends with families boring or very wet when they refuse to go to nightclubs in an attempt to chat up younger women? I think it's 38. Let's just start. At what age should a man give up dating for a long-term partner and accept a bachelor lifestyle? Oh, right. So he's saying, at what point do you give up?
38. Okay.
Is that saying, fuck it, I'm not going to have a family, I'm just going to accept that I'm a bachelor, right?
Well, it's interesting because it is I guess it's a male privilege, and that does feel very unfair that you kind of can sort of meander and fuck around.
Yeah.
And then you can just land on your feet.
Well, the whole difference between a bachelor and a spinster is incredibly unfair, isn't it?
It does feel like a very biologically unfair.
It's Miss Havisham versus Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, literally is. Because I feel like when women reach 30, then they're, if you do want kids, obviously there's a biological clock.
Yeah.
But with men, you can sort of be a complete fuckhead, and then you're like 45 years old.
Family, yeah.
And you meet, a busty 21-year-old.
Personal opinions, at what age should a man give up? Never.
I don't know. I find it, personally...
Always look for love.
I personally, the older I get, the more tragic I find older bachelors.
Yeah.
As a personal preference.
It gets tragic for a certain amount of time, probably around that age. But once you hit 60, if you're still kicking it, God bless you.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets back, it comes back again. So around 38, it's a bit sad. But once you hit 60, those are the dark years. Those 12 years are dark. Once you hit 60 and you're still a bachelor, God bless you.
Right, next question. Annie L. Do you and Andrew no longer live together? Yes. That's an easy question to answer.
No.
And who is the better housemate, Lord Andrew or Lord Horatio?
It's me.
Yeah, it's Andrew.
It's me.
You're maybe a worse housemate at uni?
I was an awful housemate at uni.
Yeah, but now you were better.
No, Horatio is technically a bad housemate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't...
I never get defensive, and I'm in no delusion
He
about
accepts. He accepts when he's wrong, nice and quickly.
It's not accepting I'm wrong. It's assuming. I assume I'm always wrong. It's actually quite different.
When I came,
I don't actually think about what you've said. I just assume that you're
because
right.
you assume I'm keeping track of things. Because it was
yeah.
When we left the house, I said, "Oh, did you pick up my black speaker?"
Yeah.
And he went, and Horatio was like, "Yeah, I think I did actually." I said, it's a JBL, one of those long sausagey kind of ones, black speaker. He was like, yeah, I'll bring it to the next podcast. Yeah. And that was great. I lost it. I was like, perfect. He had it. Of course he did. Yeah. And Horatio was like, of course I've taken that speaker. Yeah. And then he then came and then gave it to me. And it was like a non-JBL, this grey kind of fat speaker that he got for his birthday.
Yeah, it was my speaker.
He just presumed
that
he'd fucked up. Which is, because most of the time he has. Yeah. In fairness, most of the time he has. Yeah. But no, Horatio is technically a bad housemate. But it comes from his ADHD dyspraxic place. Sure. So you can forgive. Yeah. That's the thing. A malicious housemate, you can't forgive.
Yeah. I certainly don't do anything out of spite, and I'm not defensive.
No.
Next question. Ass. If you were gay, do you think you'd be attracted to each other?
It's an interesting one. It's a tough one.
I don't know what I'd be. To be honest.
Would we work as a couple?
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it's a bit yin-yangy, as in like, you're the scatty one, I'm the organised one.
Yeah, it's
a bit like...
Well, you look at gay couples...
But bearing in mind we're gay in this world.
No, but look at dynamics of successful gay couples. What is it? I guess it's top and bottom. I guess, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be. We could share duties.
Yeah.
Honourably.
We're both tops at the same time.
We're both top, yeah.
I feel...
I don't know. I think maybe. I think if we were gay, we would confuse friendship for attraction.
How regularly does that happen? I guess in the gay community, it must happen more and more. I guess it becomes. I think sex becomes a less big a deal if you're gay. Is what I seem to see. Yeah, it's like less kind of like serious in that way.
But this isn't the question. Would we have sex? The question is, do you think you'd be attracted to each other?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I think I'd probably want a thicker boy. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Well, if you're gay though, if I was gay, I'd probably be in better shape because I'd have to.
You're not in bad shape. It's more just like I think.
No, it needs to be muscular.
No, because I'd want a twink.
But twinks need to be pretty.
You need to be a bit purred.
Yeah, no, I think it seems like, and also it feels like when people I know come out as gay or queer or bi, they just suddenly are in great shape.
Yeah, fine.
It feels like as soon as it's like,
Sorry,
all
Jess.
right, I'm queer, then it's like...
It was like the thing that wasn't giving it away was them being in bad shape and dressing badly. That's what staying in the closet is.
Suddenly, yeah.
They stop shopping at Top Man.
Right, next question. Marcus Pepperell. How many swords is too many swords, brackets, to own? My flatmate has 5, and I'm not sure whether I should be jealous or concerned. This is what I imagine is a good... This is a listener of The Boys Gone Wild. This is what I like. These are the kind of agony aunts.
Flatmate owns 5 swords and he's concerned. That's definitely our clientele. I would argue... Maybe I have a controversial opinion on this.
Sure.
But I would argue that 1 sword is too many swords to own. I think it's the biggest red flag. You're either a creep who wants to use it, or you're a creep who likes collecting
Now,
it.
what's worse? 1 sword or 5 swords?
1.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, actually, it's tough.
'Cause 5 swords...
One might presume intent to use. 5, you're sure he's collecting them.
Yeah.
So in terms of intent to use and like concerns about murder or assault, 1's definitely better. I
wouldn't be jealous of a man with 5 swords. If I'm
I wouldn't
being
be
real.
jealous of a man with any swords.
I would be concerned. So the answer is
We're
concerned.
presuming they're samurai swords, right? What other swords do
Well,
you
they
have?
better be... I guess we haven't seen these swords, have we? Because I mean, you're acting like this, but then you might see his collection and be like, "That's just pretty amazing." And then he tells you the story and the history around it, and then you might get a bit jealous. What are you typing in, Charlie?
Types of good swords.
He raced down to the keyboard.
It's funny because he's such a quick typer as well. Types of good swords.
Best for slashing katana. That's a samurai sword. Best for thrusting.
What would you say for the best for thrusting is? In your opinion?
A Roman sword because of the way it's built.
I'm more just like we could just pretend that we know the answers.
But it's gladius.
For me, the best for cavalry is the scimitar.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people think it might be the long sword.
I kind of all of these makes. I know all of these swords.
You know all of those swords.
I know all of these swords.
Okay, just for the people at home, the katana.
The katana is a samurai sword.
The gladius.
That would be a Roman gladiatorial sword. So that would be like with the pommel at the bottom and...
The pommel?
It's got a pommel at the bottom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I know that sword.
What's happening?
A long sword will be a massive, heavy...
Well, anyone can
sword.
know that.
Yeah.
A rapier is what they use in fencing.
Yes.
I know that,
you know that.
because of the Olympics.
And would you not know a katana?
Absolutely never heard it in my life.
All right.
In answer to the question, when my friend's dad... A friend of the pod, Max Peterson, when his parents got divorced, his dad moved into a flat in London Bridge. Yeah. And on the wall, he had all the classic posters. The one with the naked ladies when they're sitting by the swimming pool, and it's got all of the whose albums are
Well,
they?
I think we talked about this before, which is that the unique sort of art that a recently divorced dad has.
But they all have that thing. Pink Floyd. It's Pink Floyd at that one.
Yes, yeah.
So he moved in and he had that, and suddenly he developed an interest in having like a samurai sword on his wall. So anyone that it reeks of a midlife crisis essentially.
Or my dad was stop being stifled by a woman and her tastes.
It's like now,
a man's free.
Now the wife's not here. I can get these naked ladies up with Pink Floyd on their backs, and I can get a samurai sword. Yeah. Because it's like I think getting divorced is like reverting back to a 7-year-old boy.
Well, you revert back to the last time you were single, and for most married men, that can often be like 21, 22.
So I'd have like pictures of Kelly Clarkson on my wall.
Yeah.
Megan Fox, Kelly Clarkson, and Cheryl Cole.
Who's the one from
Jessie J,
Georgie
Porter.
Right,
a fine array of women. How many sort?
Well, maybe your collection can be an array of posters of
the weird one was Kelly Clarkson.
Do you want to see my array of attractive women?
Here they are.
Admire my collection.
Alex is mailing in this question, not via the post though, via the internet. What do you think is the largest animal you could realistically beat in a fight to death? Good goat.
Question.
Next
Good
question.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Largest animal?
Goat.
Well, we're talking mass, aren't we? So
I think we're talking mass, height, width.
So it's density. So because the goats are quite aggressive, and actually not that.
You're not backing yourself against a goat.
No, but
we've got no.
I'm saying you can go
weapons.
easier. You can go easier, and bigger. Right. A goat is aggressive and quite small.
Yeah.
So you'd probably want to go. What's big but docile?
Here's a controversial one that I actually think is possible. A giraffe.
They're docile, but they're fucking huge.
hit him at a good tackle beneath the knees. Get him on the floor.
They'd crush you. They're huge.
Yeah, they are pretty big.
Yeah, but it's the right kind of thinking. I think you really got to find. We need to get a graph with aggression and size, and we need to find like a non.
In the background, Charlie's just playing man jumps over goat charging towards.
I don't know
him.
what this is going to help us with.
Thanks for getting that up, Charlie. Yeah, it was really good to see. Play that video whilst... I think you should have to edit in everything you search behind. Yeah, go on.
So if we actually had this axis of most aggressive with density as one axis and the other one's aggression.
You've always got to bring graphs into things.
I guess the worst one you'd want to fight is a honey badger. Do you know about the honey badger?
Yeah.
Honey badger is the most...
That's actually... I'm a big Steve Backshaw fan.
And he
know
loves the honey
Steve
badger.
Backshaw?
Yeah, is he top... Deadly 50.
Yeah,
Deadly 100,
exactly.
And honey badger, for people who are into deadly animals, honey badger is the goat.
His answer was...
Because they can fight off like 5 lions.
His answer to a question, what if you had to put an animal in the room of your worst enemy, what would it be? And he said, well, I don't really have any enemies. I think I'm a nice guy.
Great answer.
But if I
Great
did...
answer for
Thanks,
the guy who...
We're not here to talk about your social
100.
life. We're here to talk about animals. No, he said honey badger.
Yeah. They're tight, the most aggressive creatures you've ever seen. And there's amazing videos online of them fighting off 5 full-grown lions.
Yeah,
it's
they're
amazing.
gnarly little cunts.
Really tough skin as well. So they would be on that scale. They'd probably be on the worst. Prayer mantis would also be there.
Yeah,
just for density.
I guess a mosquito as well.
Yeah, but
no, absolutely. They can malaria.
Density,
You're gone.
Yeah.
What's a big animal?
So I guess what's a big stupid animal?
I'd
go for a sheep over a goat.
Yeah.
Because sheep, I don't think, can do anything.
I think they just stand there whilst being hit.
Cows? I heard someone say...
No, people die. Yeah. People die every year from cows. This keeps coming up.
I think the guy from Deadly 100 was asked, or someone was asked, what's the most dangerous animal in the UK? And it's a cow. Makes sense.
I saw the same thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know. This Steve Batshaw keeps coming up. And it's, cows. Yeah, cows.
Oliver Griffiths-Smith. What is the worst and best jobs you've seen you and your friends get at 16 years old?
That's interesting.
The better question would be just in general. What's the worst? Well, the worst job. This is on Maine, isn't it?
Poo diver.
No, the worst job you or your friends have got. We don't know a poo diver. We don't know a poo diver.
We don't know a poo diver.
What is a poo diver? Charlie. No, I know but where are they actually diving? Like straight.
Well, tell him.
They're maintenance men who have to fix
we haven't done this for ages.
Sewage tunnels, and it involves basically they're specialised scuba divers who dive through human excrement.
Oh, I can't imagine that.
Brilliant.
There it is. Can't even imagine it, mate. Next question. Bloody hell.
This is from Cam Blackwood, voice note.
Hey lads, long time listener, first time voice noter. I wanted to pose a question of a philosophical nature to you that bothered us on a 6-hour car journey. A group of 4 of us, shout out to the power of 4. How fast do you think Mo Farah could run a marathon backwards? So he is given a guide, but the guide is just there to advise him of any potholes or small animals or other obstructions in the road. The guide is not there to give him any kind of tips or warn him about anything that isn't going to be a danger to injury. ChatGPT, you can skip past this if you don't want to know, but ChatGPT says that they reckon he could do it in 4 hours and 20 minutes. I reckon he would do it in 4 hours and 45. Love to see your guys' takes on this. Cheers.
It's interesting that there's like 20 minutes difference. I thought we might be talking hours.
Yeah.
If we're squibbling over.
So it's not a fundamental difference. The Power of 4, is that the name of your group? He said, shout out the Power of 4.
Yeah, I guess it was.
So that's like his gang.
That he's taking trips.
That's
Where
his
was he
crew.
going?
6-hour car journey. That's
to
what
where?
he said.
Oh, right. Shout out the Power of 4.
Well, shout out the Power of 4.
Charlie, could you please look up how Mo Farah's fastest time in a marathon?
So he ran 2 hours...
2 hours, 5 minutes and 11 seconds. That's that's blinking quick.
So I guess ChatGPT just doubled that and added a little bit.
Someone just broke the 2 hour barrier, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Now, it's such a long time to run backwards. I think you can't just double it and add a little bit.
Oddly.
You probably have to triple it.
Triple? No. They run very fast, in fairness. Like, their jog is not a bloody jog.
But it's backwards.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But I think weirdly, running backwards takes out some of the cardio because it's such an inefficient way of traveling that you're not going to be able to pump your heart enough. Do you know what I mean?
But it's not going to be as fast as running forwards, or are you positing that maybe...
I think he'll do it quicker. No, obviously not. But I think I think the gap between me and Mo Farah running a marathon would be significantly decreased if we were both running backwards. And the reason for that is because
it's not about cardio.
It's less about cardio. Technique. It's more about technique.
Yeah.
The cardio is obviously going to come in.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare.
It would be a nightmare.
Running backwards for 5 hours.
So it's good that Charlie's pulling up Mo Farah's kids because I think it's important for us to know his offspring before we dive into this conversation. So what was the time? It was 2 hours and 4 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
5, apologies.
No. Aggressive, no.
He goes off the page and no. So, 2 hours, 5 minutes and 11 seconds. You're doubling it.
But that's his...
I think it's a cold hard double.
No, 5 hours and a half, I'd say.
I think cold hard double it. I think nothing wrong with a cold hard double. 4 hours, 4 hours, 10 minutes.
Idiot's approach to this question.
Wow.
It takes twice as long. Okay, just double it then. Next question.
You stopped caring.
Yeah, I actually stopped caring, 3 minutes ago. This is from Zach.
Hi, boys. I think you can hear my current dilemma. It's, 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday evening. I got home at 4, and I think they just started. This has been the 7th day. It was great on Monday. I sat outside with a beer and pretended I was on the beach, and now I want to throw myself off the balcony of my apartment onto the lead singer like a giant game of lawn darts. Any ideas on how to make it stop? Cheers.
I got a little confused. Do you know what happened?
The problem with that was he's given us a beautifully little information there. Because the biggest shock was that he just arrived home, which implies that band are his flatmates. Run it again quickly, just to start.
We're going to have to go back.
We're going to have to go so we can all understand. It's a great voice note.
Hi, boys. I think you can hear my current dilemma. It's 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday evening. I got home at 4, and I think they just started.
So it's outside his flat.
Yeah, he seems to be living on top of some sort of Greek Orthodox band. What is that music?
Vague folk, kind of
Folky.
Eastern folk. Yeah.
Well, more information is required to answer this question.
Well, he said he's thought about how he could make it stop was jumping on it like a giant lawn dart, which implies they're below.
This is the whole stink bomb question again. This is the whole stink bomb question. For those of you that don't know,
that's probably the Patreon episode we talked about.
Yeah, Paddy lives in this new place, and there's new people outside of his flat.
Yeah.
Who are talking really loudly into the late hours.
Dancing,
music, merriment, etc. And his solution to this was to throw a stink bomb at them. My response was, you have to ask them to be quiet before you throw a stink bomb, otherwise they don't know what the stink bomb's about. Otherwise it just looks like someone's thrown a stink bomb, and it could look like a hate crime because they were Eastern European.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't advise to go for the lawn dart again, because you need to establish why you're doing it, or else it looks like some sort of accident.
Now, do you, when you bring up the first warning, bring up the fact, if you don't stop, I'm going to jump on you like a lawn dart?
Again, Paddy's thing would work. If you don't shut up, I'm going to get a stink bomb.
Is that what you say in the first time you tell them to stop?
Second time.
Fine. First time.
I would do third
First
personally.
time, make it stop. Second time, if you don't make it stop, I'm going to jump on you.
I'm going to jump on you.
And then third time, that they've made their bed, they got to sleep in it.
Then they've got to stink in their stinky stink bomb.
So
bed.
we're saying jump on them like a giant lawn dart, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But make sure you just got to have a warning system in place to give them the fair shake. The problem is, because they don't know that you don't like the music.
It's very odd music to live around. Most people have to put up with maybe if most of the time it's young people playing dance music too loud through their speakers. In a way, it might be quite nice that this folksy band is playing. But Sunday at 9 and this kind of vague hear him now.
Or an 8-year-old with a pushy mother learning the piano, because if he doesn't, he'll get shunned.
Yeah, so it's like Beethoven played with wrong notes all the time, but really forcefully. And then a mother going,
he's getting smacked for getting A minuses.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
And
I
I'd
would
lawn dance that cunt as well.
maybe try and change your music taste because, like,
Adapt.
Adapt.
Well, the strongest creatures, the creatures that are most like.
We don't
it's
need to.
not the strongest that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the most adaptable to change.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that to survive in this world, you got to adapt to the change around you.
There is
It's an evolutionary way.
maybe we're in for a kind of Greek folk movement in music at the moment.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm seeing it everywhere.
I'm seeing at that guy's house. Yeah. But, you know, it might be quite nice to come home to live music. That's a tough one.
I got home at 4.
That's...
I think they just started.
No, that's torturous. That's one of the worst music you can play.
You're going to have to lawn dart them.
I think lawn dart them immediately, give no explanation to see what happens.
Right, we're going to end with this very long voice note. It's 2 minutes.
I would like a little bit of boy-centric advice surrounding how to logistically organise the hot girl summer that I'm currently having. Because basically I've recently started dating, and when I say dating, I mean I'm going on a different date almost every single day with a different person, and I'm loving it. I'm literally having the best time. And I recently went back with one of my dates, and we like slept together, and it's like awoken something in me, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to have like casual sex with loads of different people for the next few months. So essentially, I want to build a little harem of men around London, but I don't really know how to go about it communicatively, i.e. how transparent should I be with these people? Because I'm a little bit autistic, so I just want to be really candid and be like, I want to do this. Do you want to be a part of this? But I understand that's not how everyone, and like, not everyone wants that question posed to them in that way. And so I don't know how, like, what do boys want to know? What do boys want to hear if, you know, if they're going to be a part of a situation like that? Because I do like them. It wouldn't be like a massive group. It would be maybe like 5, maybe, or 6. I don't know. And I've got my like candidates, but I just don't really know how to embark upon it without it feeling like I'm misleading them. So yeah, what do you say? How do you speak to boys about this? How do you build a harem of men where that's the goal? What do you say? What do boys want to know? Please help me. I trust you deeply. Thank you. Love you, bye.
Thank you so much, Natalia.
It's a great one. It's impossible to mislead with perfect communication.
Okay, but she's autistic.
So she's not autistic. Okay. She just wants to. She's just honest. Or she says it how it is. Well, you've got to like if you're going to build a harem, you've got to have
directness, but they also there's a lot of double standards with men, and they get very insecure.
Yeah, but that's the ones you want to avoid.
Exactly. If you're going to build a harem, you've got to build the right boys.
Seemingly sleep with every boy in London. There's going to be all different types.
And if you try and sleep with every boy in London and build a harem, and then you're going to get loads of rejects, but you'll get 5 or 6.
One thing I will say is that it's great to hear someone who's really enjoying dating. And casual sex, because it does feel like a lot of what I've been hearing from a lot of my single friends and stuff, or just the state of dating at the moment, it seems to be people are very not enjoying the casual nature of it. So what I would, just as a side point, say, if you are enjoying it,
lean into it, because I don't know how long that will last. Yeah, it often seems quite fleeting, and especially when you're single, it's inconsistent how you emotionally how you feel. So I'd say if you're like, I'm really enjoying this, really try and savor it. Yeah, I don't know how long that will be. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, that's true. So but in terms of the direct thing, you want the right boys in this harem. If the harem's only going to work, it's
like picking a five-a-side team.
I think exactly. It's picking a perfect five-a-side team. The harem's only you got your left back, you got your speedy winger, you got your striker at the top. Do we need to say any more? No, you've got to get the right boys in the harem or the harem's not going to work. You know, if you want a harem, then you're not going to want the baggage of having to pretend that you're actually interested in a relationship with any of them. Do your thing, girl, and tell them, and if they're not into it, then cool. That's not what you want. Bin them.
In general,
get them in the skip, in the rucksack.
A big problem men are finding is that they want casual sex, and most of the women they're with want something more serious.
They will become insecure about it.
But it's more like it's a more common problem. So try and find men who are also on this hype, who are sick of meeting women who want more serious things, and actually take advantage of the fact that you're going to play them at their own game. There's loads of men doing that. I'd say fill it with
It doesn't
men
have to
doing
be.
casual
It doesn't
sex.
have to be a gender competition.
What do you mean?
Well, it doesn't have to be. They play them at their own game.
Well,
It could be
not
free love.
I mean, it's more like if you're feeling this way, there's so many men who also feel that way.
It's true.
So I'd just say
Absolutely.
take
Find the right guy.
advantage of that.
And it might.
But
Have,
there's a lot of men who don't feel that way. And
Exactly.
It seems like you're very worried about hurting their feelings.
Don't
suss that out.
But also don't feel bad about if you hurt their feelings with it. If you've gone too far into it and then you suddenly say, by the way, I've got a harem of 4 other guys, 6 other guys, then that could be a problem. If you're open from the very start, then who cares? Do you know what I mean? Then they have the prerogative to say I'm into it or I'm not into it. So it's actually what you are. It's like the transfer season. It's the transfer season, and you're looking for players on loan. You're not looking for transfers. You need to find the right loan squad to build up.
Sure.
But you don't want to get on loan, a star of a big team who's going to feel like I'm not ready. This position is beneath me. You want someone who's happy to be there. You want the Oxford United striker who is 16 years old, maybe make him a bit older, depending how you are. A 16-year-old young buck who's ready to be. No, I'm ready for this opportunity because this is what I want. This is the best for my career.
Yeah.
You don't want the prima donna strikers going, this, I'm above this. I don't want this.
Yeah.
So it's all about the scouting process right now.
Yeah.
You're almost like doing an interview, but ask the question immediately. Maybe not the first question. I'd have sex with them first.
Yeah.
Then ask.
It was more you enjoy yourself. You got our blessing for whatever you choose. Go forth.
Well, she wasn't asking for our blessing. She's asking how to address the blessing.
Yeah.
Which is address it, I think is the answer. Get the right boys in. So, Will RM asks, would you rather start tripping really hard every time you're in public or be constantly jorking it Terry Crews style in private? Would you rather live your life in terror for the entirety of your life or have a masturbation issue?
Every time you're in public, so it implies when you're in private, the trip stops.
Oh, so is it like, would you... Oh, God.
It's kind of it's probably the worst way around. Or I don't know. You don't want to trip every time you get home.
Oh, God, what is the
You
worst
want a
way?
safe space. No, because you just be in the house.
You just be a hermit.
Yeah.
Or, but then the problem is then... But every
You'd be
time...
a literal hermit because you'd go mental every time you leave.
It's what would you prefer, to be out or in? Because when you're in... I guess Terry Crews is having fun when he's wanking, but like when you're...
He is having fun.
No.
I think because he's doing what? He's doing it like... He's doing like 14 hours a day at his worst.
So the question is, would you
It's
prefer
kind of
to...
you're like, as soon as you're in the house, you're just watching porn.
Would you prefer to live in hell in private or publicly? I think I'd choose the Terry Crews option because I wouldn't...
Well, you love masturbating.
Yeah. Next question. No.
I guess it's like...
No, because I'd prefer to have a secret, terrible thing that I could just get on with and still be able to have friends and see my family. Do you know what I mean? The other version is every time I see my mum, I'm going like, what's wrong with your hair? That sounds like I'm just kind of critiquing her hair too much, but it's more like, oh, well, I can't see anything. I'd like to be able to still have a career and family and friends and wank a lot rather than... Do you know what I mean?
Fair. Terry Crews has a very successful career alongside his wanking.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's true. You can have a successful public life if privately you're going to town.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, you convinced me. I think I'd do Terry Crews style. It's a good... Yeah.
Charlie?
This is just more of a fact.
Brilliant.
How can he bring a fact into this? How can he possibly bring a fact into this?
Did you know that when you get old, you just start tripping because your eyesight and your brain are kind of interacting in some way, which creates illusions. So my granny has recently started seeing like crosses and hammers and ladders like all over my dad's face.
She's a West Ham fan.
She quite likes it, apparently.
Is she a West Ham fan? Yeah, that's it.
No, she doesn't like football.
Right.
But she loves ladders.
Weird follow-up question, but yeah, that does make sense for old people because there's a glazeness, which I presume... do you know what I mean? They do seem like they're tripping a lot or like things are a bit confusing.
Yeah.
But I think it can be quite pleasant if it's just hammers and ladders.
I don't think so. I don't think it sounds awful.
She likes it.
Does she?
Yeah.
So she likes the hallucinations
She likes it. She thinks
of
it's
her
fun.
brain
Yeah,
deteriorating.
because you see my dad and he's got little hammers and ladders on.
But I guess the mind is slowly going that you start to enjoy it. You're not really overthinking the trip. You're like, oh, there's another ladder.
Yeah, and also how bad can it get? Because you're just like 96 in a home.
Yeah. What's wrong with a hammer and a ladder?
Exactly.
Right, next question. Dougal, stop playing Sims, we've got work to do, is his name. I assume that's one of your nicknames.
Must be.
How long would you last on the run from the police, and what tactics do you employ? Let's assume for something bigger than one of Andrew's petty sex crimes.
I don't remember divulging any of my petty sex crimes on this podcast.
Petty. You're so petty.
You're so petty with your sex crimes. The thing about Andrew's sex crimes,
petty.
It's just
He's a petty
petty
man.
It's petty.
Yeah, because it's sort of implying
like,
that you're like wanking on an ex's like through her letterbox.
It was like, at least go and expose yourself to some women. Stop all these petty sex crimes you're doing and actually get out in public and commit some sex crimes. Okay, I'd back myself on the run from the police for a long time.
A long time.
A long time.
I think UK's tough because it's so densely packed. Like America's where
that's easy. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I guess because of how skilled we are at parkour, that's benefit for us.
It's true.
So would you say your move would be like Assassin's Creed style?
I think you got
parkour and then hide in a bin.
You got to wait it. Yeah, hide in a bin for a long time. I think you've got to wait it out. That's the big thing. I think too many people get restless.
Okay, that's interesting. I feel with all the technology they have, staying in the same place is.
No. As in, waiting. No, because you've got to go into like the countryside. You've got to go and get like a tent or sit in the woods forever.
I would try and get as quickly to the top of a hill on the South Downs in a tent. Well, probably not South Downs.
On top of a hill, that's pretty visible. They'll be like, "Who's that bastard? What's that guy doing up in the tent there?"
Whenever people on the run, they never just go out into the. I guess we need food.
Have you seen Hunted, the Channel 4 program?
No, I haven't.
I watched it a couple of times. The techniques are go into the woods,
okay,
basically, or like you got to get friends and family to help you. But it's go out into the woods.
You need accomplices.
You've got to hide out. I think, you can't really leave the country is the problem.
Now I wonder, from my time, I guess I don't have much experience of this apart from playing hide and seek.
Sure.
Is there, because you can sort of
from my time during hide and seek? Is that what you're going to say?
I guess. In my head, I've always thought about it. Is there a good enough just actual hiding place that you can hide in?
So remember when our friend Matt Cowley hid in the ceiling?
Yeah.
So those ceiling tiles you get at schools that you can take off and go in. To be honest, if you're there for months, no one's going to check there.
Yeah. I guess you can't be there for months.
Why not?
Because you need to piss and shit and eat.
It's true.
And drink.
It's true. You thought of everything.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to your nearest school and they go and hide in one of those in the ceiling, and then when they all go home, you could pop down and.
In London, you got to avoid CCTV cameras, which
you got to get out of the city immediately.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You got to bundle in a car in a boot, get out to the countryside.
I don't know.
I think the answer to that question is probably we wouldn't last very long. We don't know what we're doing.
Ewan Willis. I believe Liam Neeson has been snubbed time and again for BGW status. Every time his poor publicist puts in front of a camera, he starts spinning the most racist, unhinged yarn yet. Firstly, when out of absolutely nowhere, admitting to roaming the streets with a kosh in pursuit of attacking any black man in front of a slack-jawed journalist that only response was holy shit. To more recently, when doing an unbelievably racist impression of an Asian woman, reacted to an earthquake when he was shooting on location, not to mention the countless photos of him with pissy pants in fan selfies and paparazzi photos. My question is, why is the most obvious BGW being overlooked? Fair question.
I really respect the intent behind that. That's a fan who's like, you've overlooked someone and he's annoyed.
It's fair. We have talked about his pissiness.
We have talked about his pissiness. We have talked about him going around looking for any black people.
But on the Film vs. the Internet podcast, which is Patreon only, Vittorio did tell me about this. This is arguably his best.
I'd like to see it.
This is incredible.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Have you not seen this, Charlie?
Let's all dive in. So this is for an interview for promoting a film.
I think this is maybe after, and then I looked out to see any black bastard.
And it sounds like an incredible shoot, but there was an earthquake during it. That must have been quite terrifying for yourself and all of the cast members.
Terrifying. I was in a hotel on the 19th floor in the morning, and the building shook. I've been in an earthquake before in LA. For some reason, it was different. I got under a doorway, because they all say, get under a doorway. And as I was standing there in the room shaking, I thought, this is crazy. So I got my passport and went out into the hallway. And the hallway was going like this. I'm not exaggerating. And there was a little lady dressed in black who was the manageress of that floor. She was knocking on the doors with her clipboard, checking the rooms had been cleaned to the right perfection, all the rest of it. She turned and saw me like this up against the door. And she said, No problem. I've been here 20 years. No problem. That was it. But it was scary.
Oh,
That is fucking fantastic.
it's unbelievable. It's so much like that Ricky Gervais sketch from Life Short. He's like his character there.
But it was still scary.
It's the contrast with his gruff Northern Irish, incredibly charismatic kind of voice to the really cartoonishly racist Asian impression. Not just the voice, but the eyes and the smile.
I think
he's repeating, no problem.
He's gone into that sphere of actor where he thinks he's such a good actor that he can do, he can do everything perfectly. So it doesn't matter. He's not thinking about the racial connotations of it. He's like, I'm going to bring you to that moment. He's got so involved with his own story that he's stopped thinking about what he's doing.
But he also is a very good actor, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a video of the...
And it was bang on.
It might be bang on, to be fair to him.
It might be bang on.
And if it's bang on, is it racist?
But it was still scary.
Can we hear the accent
one more time? Yeah.
And she said, no problem. I've been here 20 years. No problem.
Problem.
But it's the way that he doesn't find it funny. He says that, and then he has quite a serious look.
Yeah, and because he's telling it quite a...
Yeah, and that's what it was like. No problem.
But it was still scary.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess we have been overlooked. I guess because he's had the piss pants and the going out looking for black people.
He's got a Baldwin-esque nature to him for sure.
In the sincerity of his talk and
but
the
also
seriousness.
the charisma, as well as the sincerity.
Yeah, we'll include him on a list somewhere.
Yeah. But thank you very much for listening, guys. We've been Boys Gone Wild. You got anything to finish us off?
One time, not one time. There was once a man who looked into the woods, and he saw darkness when in fact he should have seen light.
No problem.